Business Today is brought to you by...
Shouldn't banking start with you? After all, it's your life and we're just one part of it. So no matter what life throws at you, at Scotiabank we guide you through it with people who actually listen and with services that enable what matters most to you. Because at Scotiabank, it starts with you.
This is Business Today. I'm Marlon Madden. Tourists spent an estimated $1.7 million more in 2017 than they did the previous year. The latest central bank figures showed that tourism activities increased by 1.2% to reach $142.5 million last year, up from the $140.8 million in 2016. At the same time, Governor of the Central Bank, Cleviston Haynes, said the overall increase in long-stay visitor arrivals for the period under review was contained to 4.4% due to a slowdown after September.
In addition, the growth in long-stay arrivals was offset by an estimated 5.6% decline in the average length of stay of visitors from all major non-regional source markets. The cumulative growth in long-stay visitors from the United States and Canada was 11.2% and 7.7% respectively. However, arrivals from the United Kingdom were down by just over 1%, partially the effect of Brexit-related uncertainty. The revival in regional visitors continued into the fourth quarter, resulted in overall growth in arrivals from CARICOM countries. The upsurge in the cruise market was sustained into 2017, with cruise passenger arrivals rising by almost 15% in response to increased cruise ship calls at the Bridgetown port.
Leadership within the public sector in Barbados and the rest of the region is set to get a boost. The plan was laid as officials recently met in Bridgetown for the 5th Technical Working Group meeting on developing a vision, strategy and implementation plan for sustainable leadership development in the Caribbean. The meeting formed part of the Canadian-funded Caribbean Leadership Project, CLP, which is now operating within the Caribbean Centre for Development Administration, CARICAD. Regional Project Director of the CLP, Dr. Lloyd Parks, tells Business Today that organization was embarking on a strategy to improve public sector leadership. The 12-year-old program, which is focused on the training and retraining of executives in the public sector, is currently in its 11th cohort.
And so what we'll be looking at is understanding, very clearly confirming what are the ongoing leadership development needs and challenges, what's the context within which leadership has to operate, what are the requirements of the environment, and therefore understand who our target market really is, who are the different participants, what are the kinds of leadership development initiatives that we will be developing to target them at their point of need. And of course, looking at costing, financial sustainability is important. So looking at then how do we ensure that this is financially viable, not just in terms of persons paying monies, but also looking at how can we then use the collaborative resources of the region to pull that together so that we can use the resources that we do have to make this a worthwhile effort and to make this sustainable and to provide high quality ongoing leadership development programming.
Parks is confident the region has what it takes to overcome its numerous social, economic and environmental challenges. She, however, underscored that it will require greater collaboration between the private and public sectors, as well as cooperation from policymakers across all Caribbean member states. Parks pointed out that while a one-size-fits-all approach would not work, each country is battling similar problems which required effective leadership to solve them.
So that is why it's important. And so maybe sometimes people might say, well, how do you define leadership? But we know when it is absent, for sure, and so I prefer to look at it as we all see the gaps when there is no leadership or ineffective leadership. And so that's what we absolutely need, not just a one person leader, but we need leadership collectively in our societies if the Caribbean is to achieve the sustainable development goals set by the United Nations.
Now for today's financial tip. When seeking to get into business, one of the things you could consider is buying one that already exists. While this could be more expensive than starting from scratch, it comes with a few benefits, including easier access to finance, an existing customer base, a reputation, as well as employees who are already familiar with all aspects of the operation. That's been Business Today. Join us again on Thursday. Until then, you can get more business and news by logging on to www.barbadostoday.bb, subscribing to our e-paper, and liking us on Facebook. I'm Marlon Madden.